Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and today we will be building a renovated sort of Romanian inspired house turned into, if you're wondering, Michaela, why the hell are you building that? So the new world that came with Life and Death is kind of Romanian inspired. Obviously they never come right out and say oh, this is the world that we kind of based it off of. However, the architecture and just the general environment of the world is very Romanian. So I started looking actually a couple weeks ago for just kind of Romanian inspired houses because I wanted to do something that seemed like it was older but then was renovated into student apartments for the main sim of my Life and Death Let's Play to live in. And I found a reference picture and I actually built the shell before the pack came out, and I thought I was just going to renovate that, and then the pack came out and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to build it from scratch. So I kind of already had an idea of what the building was going to look like. I played with it a little bit. As you can see, at first I started doing rounded walls, and I leave that for a little bit, but in the pack there aren't any matching windows that fit on rounded walls, which I think I understand it's a whole other thing to make it fit with rounded walls, but it just didn't look right. I don't know, if you're gonna do a whole nother style of windows, something that we don't have anything matching for in game, I feel like at least something should fit on curved walls, since that is now a feature in the game, making it work for all features. But whatever. So that, and also I didn't particularly like the look of a rounded roof. I just thought that it looked a little odd in comparison to the rest of the building. I think if maybe the rounded section wasn't so big it would have been fine, but it just didn't look right. It wasn't my favorite, so I ended up changing that to just a regular straight walls, and I think that ended up looking better. Funny story about me building this actually. So I am hopefully getting this out to you on Friday, November 1st. I'm actually recording this at 1 a.m. but I filmed this the day that the pack came out, but I filmed all of this, did everything, did all the editing and such from my bed because I was violently hungover. So incredibly hungover. When I say I knew the pack had come out, I knew I could download it, I just could not get from my bed to my desk to get my laptop and get back in my bed. It was bad. Now the bright side of that is that I did not go to class because I was so violently hungover, which it was fine. We just were doing a little costume contest and watching over 2 project videos, so I didn't miss much, and I knew it'd be fine. But I threw up multiple times. It was gross. I will not go into further detail, just know it was gross. But because of that, and I did not stop vomiting, I did not stop until 11:30 in the morning, and I had class at 1:20, and at that point I had already decided I was not getting out of this bed. Originally my plan was going to be to run home from class to start filming so I could get a video up with the pack on Friday. Didn't have to do that because I was already home. It just was a matter of me getting from my bed to get my laptop, which was indeed a struggle. I ended up ordering pizza because I did not trust myself to go into the kitchen and make myself some food. It was bad. And so I did indeed build this entire thing while I was in my bed, laying down. I had this whole little setup. I'm still in my bed actually. I feel much better. I went out again actually, but I feel much better. But I'm still in my bed actually. I had this whole setup. I have my mic coming from my desk over to my bed because it is very close. It wasn't I had to go this far distance. It is literally right next to my bed, but I digress. I'm cozy now, so I hope you guys had a really good Halloween. If you are in college or you just like to party, I'm sure your Halloween is not over because it is now the weekend. It might just be starting, but I go to a party school, so it has been Halloween since last Friday. Halloween is in full swing. This is the crazy part though, because everybody in the entire state comes here because we are the party school of the state. There's UMiami, but UMiami just doesn't do it like us. I've been told last Halloween actually, I was by the fountain with my friend at literally 1, 2 in the morning, and we're just talking to these random people, and this guy is literally from UMiami, and I'm like, what are you doing here? UMiami is a party school. Why did you come up 8 hours to party here? And he was like, because it just isn't like this. So you heard it from them, not me, okay? We have fantastic parties, which I could have told you that, but there's your confirmation if you needed it. So it does get kind of annoying because so many people are coming up that like literally everywhere is crowded. On Tuesday, we thought about going to this one club that is free on Tuesdays. And we got in line. We went to go get pre-banded. The club wasn't even open yet. We went to go get pre-banded and the line was so ridiculous. Like genuinely, we ended up leaving after we waited in line for 40 minutes. And we were near the front, but people kept cutting and like we were not gonna get in. We were not gonna get banded by the time the club opened, and we got there 30 minutes before they started pre-banding. They started pre-banding at 8. We got there at like 7:30. Club opens at 9. We were not gonna be banded by 9 o'clock. It was ridiculous. And we weren't that far back when we got in line. Like it was so bad, and I was like, I have work in the morning, I'm gonna go home, like I can't do this today, not even in the mood. We weren't ready yet, we hadn't changed, we would have still had to go home and get dressed and stuff. Like it was not the night. And I wasn't even planning on doing any clubs and stuff for Halloween because I knew that the lines would be ridiculous because a bunch of people from out of town are here. The other thing with Halloween is that these aren't people that normally go here, and for whatever reason they just have no decorum. Like I try. It really depends. Like whenever I go to a club or whatever, I already know that like the people are probably going to piss me off at some point, because when it's super crowded and people are drunk people are annoying even when you're drunk yourself. So I already knew like the vibes probably weren't going to be that great at clubs and stuff, but the house parties normally are pretty good. Not when there's so many people coming. I went to a house party today and it was like, it's a completely different vibe of people. It's not the people that normally are there. It's the people that come from out of town or people that don't want to go to the clubs because the clubs are packed. So, you know, not that I want to gatekeep my little parties, but I kind of want to gatekeep my little parties because who are you people and why are you pushing? Don't piss me off. So I was sober today, which also probably didn't help because I do not like being around drunk people when I'm sober. They get on my last nerve. I cannot do it. I can't do the screaming. I'm so happy that you're happy, but oh my goodness, my ears are ringing. I cannot do that. So, I mean, I was having a good time because it was Halloween and I was Shrek. I thought about doing face cam. However, I am indeed green, even though I have washed my face. I peeled off the face paint. Also, don't get face paint from Spirit Halloween. Don't do that, perhaps. Learn from me, perhaps. It is really difficult to get off. It dries down really weird and it like cracks. So like it just didn't look good. It honestly looks a lot better now that I've peeled it and washed my face, and it's definitely staining. I've washed my hands multiple times. I didn't put it on my hands. It got on my hands when I was putting it on my bald cap. Yeah, I was also wearing a bald cap, by the way. And my hands are still very green. So I don't know how long my face will be green for. Let's hope not too long. But it was fun. I was green. I walked past people and they were like, oh my god, are you Shrek? And I was like, yeah. I should have said no. No, I'm not Shrek. What are you talking about? I'm not wearing a costume. This is just me. Can't you tell? Obviously. Duh. I know I've mentioned this before, but I really love Halloween. I just love like the whole, just like having fun with it. Like I love that everybody's dressing up. I love that everybody just is on the same page of looking like a little fucking freak. And even if you're doing like, you know, the sexy costumes are fun too, but I love a fun costume. I love a like silly, like, why are you the Lorax? Bitch, what are you doing? You know? Why are you Shrek? I met another Shrek tonight, and then there was a guy dressed as Fiona, which I loved. Like, just be silly, just having fun. I love that so much. Tomorrow's hopefully not going to be as bad, but it's a Friday, so it honestly might be worse. Like, it's not Halloween day, but it is the week of Halloween, and now it's the weekend. Like, it's going to be bad. We're definitely not doing any clubs. We're 100% just going to do house parties, but the house party I went to today felt like a club. It was bad. I also am trying to figure out what I'm going to do costume-wise, because my main costume was Shrek. we've done Shrek now. I think tomorrow we'll be running back Steve Harvey, making it a tradition. I told my friend, like, I'm not sure if I want to do Steve Harvey because the first time I've worn Steve Harvey to two places. The first place I wore it is the party that I'll be going to, and then I was potentially going to go to this other, like, this small frat, which I went to last Halloween, and that was the first place that I was ever Steve Harvey. And I love them because they're super, like, low-key. Didn't know they existed until I went to that party, but they were super chill and super nice, and I love them. And I just felt, like, safe there. Like, very rarely do I feel like you feel safe at a frat and, like, you would trust them to watch your drink. I fuck with them. I like them. So I kind of want to run it back and go back there, you know? But I've already been Steve Harvey at both of those places, and those are the places I was thinking about going tomorrow. So I'm like, should I? Do I have to switch it up? However, I think it's kind of like a little tradition. I want to see if anybody remembers. I was telling my friend today, like, I swear that I don't like attention, but then I do shit like paint myself green and wear a bald cap on Halloween. Like, maybe I do like attention just a little bit. Like, maybe I'm secretly an attention whore and I just don't like to admit it to myself. Am I in denial? Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it's like every now and again I just crave attention because I don't like it other times. Perhaps. I don't know. We have to we may have to dive deeper into that. Thankfully, I don't have work or class tomorrow, so I will not have to, like, rally for anything. I'll just have to be ready for tomorrow. And I didn't drink today, so I will be ready. And also, my roommate didn't come out with us today because she also threw up. I don't know what was with all of us yesterday, but there were 4 of us who went out. It was me, my roommate, my friend from class, and her roommate. The only one who didn't throw up is my friend's roommate, because he stopped drinking like halfway through the night, because we ended up going to, like, we pre-gamed really hard at her house, and then we went to her friend's, like, party at his apartment, but it was a really small party, which was really fun, by the way. Like, we just were talking. All of us were just, like, talking and listening to music. I had a full, like, 30-minute conversation with this guy about movies. Like, it was so fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. But I don't know why we were so, like, I don't know why we were so on one, considering the circumstances. Like, we did not have to be doing all that, but apparently that was, it, you know, it's Halloween. But she texted me this morning and she was like, so apparently I blacked out at some point during the night and I threw up. And I was like, okay, so I woke up this morning and I threw up 5 times. And then my roommate literally at 4 p.m. somehow managed to rally and go to class. And then she texted me and she goes, I threw up 3 times this morning. And I was like, I literally was like thinking, like, I need to throw up quieter because I don't want her to be able to hear me across the house because that's embarrassing. Like, I know she's going to make fun of me for it, except she was throwing up too, so she couldn't hear me. And it was like the same time. I was like, yeah, I stopped at like 11:30, like that was the last time. And she was like, oh my God, same. But then she got up and got ready to go to class, which is crazy to me. I still felt like I was dying. Like, I was not doing well this morning. Back to the build for a second. So we're decorating the bottom 2 apartments at the moment, I believe, if we're on the right timing, I hope. And these apartments, one of them is going to be for a sim that we will be playing with somewhat. Not our main sim, but she's our main sim's friend. The other apartment I decorated thinking that it was going to be for our main sim, Yadira, but then once I got up to the apartment upstairs, I was like, I kind of like this one better because that first apartment that we decorated is the only one that doesn't have any sort of balcony space. And it is also really small. So that is going to be just a random neighbor who I haven't made yet. We'll see if we end up interacting with them or if they're just like somebody that's in the world, or maybe it's an empty apartment and we'll fill that up later with somebody of interest. But one of the apartments is for Anastasia, who is her best friend, and also a fun townie who I gave a little makeover and moved into this apartment. And I'm actually very excited. I think that's going to be super fun to kind of just get to play with the both of them, and like, I think it'll make a lot of sense. Like, I'm really excited about that. I kind of was trying to figure out like how the playstyle of this is going to be, because I have figured out the backstory, I've figured out the storyline for the first 2 episodes, and then just overarching like what this Let's Play is going to be, and I'm very excited to get started playing with it because I wanted to experience both the life and the death parts of the life and the death expansion pack. A lot of this expansion pack is very like supernatural, obviously very ghosty, very focused on the afterlife, but I also wanted to have a lot of concentration on our living sim and playing with the careers and playing with bucket lists and grief and all of that. So I wanted to make sure that we got a good mix of both, with it also still being in my play style, which is very family gameplay, very realistic in a sense. I don't typically play with occults. I don't play with a lot of like ghosts and like this is magical or whatever. So I think we found a good mix of like adapting this pack to my playstyle, I guess, which I think is also important because I'm spending my money on these packs and then I don't take the time to like make them packs that I will play with in some capacity. So I'm really excited to get to make this pack something that I'll play with, you know? I am really excited about that. As far as the exterior, I went in and made a courtyard in the back because while I was doing the front and I fenced that in, I was like, I want a courtyard. I don't know why I love courtyards. Specifically, I had a phase where I really liked the courtyards that are fenced in on all four sides, or not fenced in, but like there are walls on all four sides and it's just open at the top. I don't know. I have this weird thing of like, I have like privacy film on my windows. I love that I can see out and nobody can see in. I love that so much. It just is like the privacy while still having the freedom of being able to like have your windows open, or like being able to be outside but nobody can see you. I don't know what that is. I love that so much though. So the idea of like a fully fenced in courtyard, amazing. This is not that at all. There's actually big gaps throughout that fence. Everyone can see you, but it is a cute little community space. I think it's nice to have that. I thought about putting a grill and like a picnic table back here, but in residential rental apartment buildings, they will grill stuff and leave it out there 24/7 and it will get gross so fast. I don't think anybody wants to deal with that. If you really want to grill something, you have a balcony that you can put that on. This is up on the gallery. I put it up twice, once as a residential rental and one as a residential, because you can't, if you don't have for rent, you can't place a residential rental, which I think is kind of dumb. Like they have it very weird. You have to even go in and change the lot type to residential rental before you can place it off the gallery. So it kind of is locked like literally exclusively to that, which I guess maybe that was the only way they could make it work. I don't know. But because of that, I have uploaded it as a residential and as a residential rental, just dependent on whether or not you have the packs. And also, you could 100% go in and make this just a house. It's supposed to feel like a converted Romanian house that was just converted into student apartments. So I would 100% go in and make this a house. I think this would be a super nice house to play in if it was like, you know, we fit 4 apartments in here and some of them, half of them have 2 bedrooms. So you could definitely make this into a large space, make this into a large, like really nice house if you wanted to. Or you can have pretend apartments if you don't have for rent, or you can download it as a residential rental. Now that for rent. Now that Life and Death is out, I really want to know, have you guys been playing with it? Do you own it yet? Are you waiting to buy it? Are you not going to buy it? I really am curious. I kind of was like, wanted it for the funerals, 100%. And also I'm a collector. Anytime an expansion pack comes out, I buy it immediately. This is my one guilty pleasure. Like I am so cheap with everything except for The Sims. I will buy that 100% as soon as it comes out. But again, I'm not a super occult type player, so this didn't immediately appeal to me for like the ghost gameplay, because I don't typically play with like vampires, werewolves, yada yada. So I wasn't super like, oh my god, now ghosts can be an occult, because I don't play with occults that I do have. However, this pack does a really good job of appealing to multiple styles of gameplay. Like, obviously there is that aspect of supernatural gameplay with ghosts, But there's also the funerals and the grief and the wills and heirlooms, which speaks to me a lot because I do a lot of legacy gameplay. I want to show you guys my legacy save that I am on Gen 5 of, or I'm about to start Gen 5. Gen 5 is teenager. And actually I've been planning how to like make that into a series that I can actually show you guys instead of just doing a current household. But I love that household dearly, and there are a lot of my Sims, obviously, in 5 generations that have died, which makes me sad. And actually, literally like 2 days before the pack came out, my Gen 2 Sims died. Is that Gen 2? Yeah, my Gen 2 Sims died. And they died off the lot, so I didn't have any of their possessions. We obviously don't have their house anymore, and we didn't get to have a funeral for them. But because I kept one of the ghosts in my household, I don't even think I needed to keep her ghost in my household. I just was able to throw a funeral for her and her husband because they died like a day apart, which is kind of sweet and kind of sad. They died a day apart, so I was able to throw a funeral for the both of them and get both of their get both of their urns, and I could bury them in the cemetery and start off our new cemetery. So now, starting at Gen 2, I'll be able to have all their graves. I can't have Gen 1, which is really sad. I don't know if I would have been able to throw a funeral for them because I know that my Gen 2 Sims know them, obviously, but my Gen 1 or my Gen 3 Sims and on, I don't know if they actually knew Gen 1 that well to throw a funeral or if it's just been too long and now we can't. But I would have loved to have all of their urns and been able to have the whole legacy inside of the family crypt. But I am really glad that we got to have a funeral and we get their graves now, which I think that's a really good way, like a really good system for ensuring that you have your family's graves even if they die off the lot, because presently not being able to have their graves just because you weren't in the household with them, I think is dumb. So I'm really glad that they have changed that and made a way for you to have that, because I miss my Sims. So getting to like get the little funeral pictures and getting their graves and being able to tend to their gravesite, I think is a really sweet way of like incorporating legacy gameplay into an otherwise occult pack. I'm gonna go ahead and end off this voiceover here. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and turn on your post notifications so you get notified the next time that I post. My new Life and Death Let's Play will be coming out so soon, so I really hope that you're excited, and that's even more reason for you to subscribe. I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.